appreciate that. Work by the IT and the county maintenance department. They fixed for us for the 10 o'clock meeting. So welcome. Got a couple things we're gonna get to today. First of all, we'll say, hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving. I know I did. I've been telling a few people between my mother-in-law's Thanksgiving on Thursday and my mom's Thanksgiving on Friday, and all the senior citizens got invited to. I had Thanksgiving lunch 6 times. I'm not complaining about it. It's all was good. So a few pounds heavier, but we'll work on that in January. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into the agenda. So under awards and presentations, we'll have a presentation by Visit Dothan. Aaron McCray will be here giving us a little bit of education. So we've got some new people on the commission. So they'll be educating us a little bit about what they do and how they operate and the good things that they're doing, not only for Dothan, but for the tax base for all of Houston County. So any objection to that? No objection. Under regular agenda, request to authorize resolution to approve subrecipient agreement to expend ARPA funds for the City of Taylor infrastructure project. So this has been an ongoing project for a little while. Now we have Mr. Barrett Crothers, one of the Taylor City Council members with us today. So if anybody has any questions, they can ask him, or Chris, I'm sure will be able to answer some questions as well. But this is for their sewer plant, which they've already broken ground on that a couple months ago. And so they will be expending funds, and we will be repaying some of those funds to them through our ARPA grants. Questions about that? No objection. No objection. Right. Item number 2 is a request to approve budget amendment for the ARPA local assistance and travel contingency fund. So Peter, you might have a little bit more information on this than I do, but essentially this is another bucket of funds through the ARPA program that the federal government is making available. And we're going to get $100,000 over 2 years. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's exactly correct.
So and this is still going to be subject to the ARPA restrictions, so we can't go, buy new cars or.
No, sir. It is considered part of the ARPA funds, although it is considered part of the government services as opposed to the enumerated uses.
Okay.
So it is restricted, but not as restricted as the water and sewer projects are.
Okay. Okay. Good. I know we've got several projects underway, and some of those projects, just the nature of things, probably going to be over our original estimate. So these funds will probably go to cover some of that deficit. I don't see us doing anything more than what we've already done, but I guess you never know. And certainly that is up to this commission to decide that. So we'll get $100,000. I'm sorry, we'll get $50,000 this year and $50,000 next year.
That's correct.
Anytime we get some money, that's great.
All right, so item number 3 and number 4 are sort of tied together. Item number 3 is, I guess, the money in portion of this transaction. So there's a request to adopt a resolution authorizing a loan to the county from Synovus Bank in the amount of $2 million to be evidenced by the issuance of the county's $2 million general obligation warrant to Synovus Bank. So this is, we voted on this a little bit in the past to proceed with this, but what this will do will authorize the county to issue that bond, that warrant, and we will receive that money, $2 million, and then under item number 4, we will grant that money to Sarcoa for the use of constructing a new building. So any questions about item number 3?
No objection.
Okay. We added to the agenda, and then item number 4, sort of already went over that, so we will give those proceeds to Sarcoa, and we will have an interest in their building. This will never happen, but if they don't pay it back, and that is a big if, we will, for the lack of a better term, on that building. So, any questions about that? No objections?
Mr. Chairman, do you have any comments from the public?
We, under the, this is an administrative meeting, you have to sign up for privileges of the floor for the administrative meeting. We have 2 people sign up, and that will be at the end of this meeting.
just for clarity, what you're saying is it's not like it used to be where a citizen can make a comment on any item on the agenda in the regular meeting.
This
In
is
the
an
admin meeting.
administrative meeting, but you're correct, in the regular meeting, you have to sign up to address.
Okay,
an
this is the administrative meeting,
item.
correct?
Correct.
So the public is allowed, I've been allowed for the past 4 years, going on 5 years, to make a comment on individual items before y'all vote on it.
And under the new rules, you have to sign up to make that.
That's been scrapped. So we've gone from good to bad. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Number 5 is a request to approve budget amendment for marketing services and authorize chairman to negotiate contract. So we have Miss Melody here from Like Mind Marketing, and I don't know if we have a microphone for her.
I don't need one.
Why don't you come up and talk about what you're going to be doing for the county, specifically the personnel department?
Where would you like me to be? Just,
You can
it's
stand
right,
behind that podium.
Stand behind
right
it?
there.
Okay.
Address us.
is this good?
That's perfect.
Okay. My name is Melody Lee and I am with Like Mind Marketing. And I spoke with Mr. Shoup a couple of months ago about doing a campaign for Houston County, specifically starting with hiring employees, growing your team. And I started brainstorming on that and came up with a fluid campaign that can go over into other things. When there are great announcements for Houston County, whether it's growth in a town, growth in our schools, growth to the economy, anything, that campaign can transition. But that's what I'm going to be presenting at the commission meeting, correct?
Yeah, that'll be fine. You can do that now, then or now, whichever.
I mean, I've got it ready if y'all want to see it now.
We'll do it at 10 o'clock.
Okay. Anything else you want to know?
No, that's kind of it. So,
Okay.
Appreciate
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So essentially, I approached Melody a few months ago about doing something like this, and as you are all aware, we have a tremendously difficult time hiring people at the county level, all across several departments, especially the jail, especially equipment operators. And in this day and age, I think you've got to do a little bit more to try to recruit those employees. And hopefully these marketing efforts will do that. And so the whole idea of this, and she'll go over this at the 2 o'clock meeting, this is not marketing to make the county commission look good, to make necessarily the county look good, but we do want the county to look good as an option for employment. And so we're not refocusing, this marketing effort is not going to be focused on us. It's going to be focused on our employees and the great things that they're doing for the county and how important they are, and the exciting things that they get to do on their holidays off and their Fridays off and that sort of thing. So hopefully that will make the county a much more attractive place to work. Questions about that or any objections to putting that on the agenda?
No objection.
No objection. It's needed. Yes. All right, item number 6 is a request to award bid for 7 Chevrolet Tahoes, the lowest bidder meeting specs, and approve accompanying budget amendment. So Major Rafferty, you want to come up and kind of give us a little bit of a history about this agenda item?
Yes, sir, Chairman, Commission. A little bit different aspect of how we're approaching it this year. Ford has no vehicles available. They had a one-day opening and nobody knew about it. We had bids come in from Ford, $59,000 per vehicle, and they weren't fleet packages. Big issue that we've had is our dealership in the state of Alabama that handles the state bids for the last 3 years has not been able to provide us vehicles. And last year and the year before, we went with Fords. They submitted a bid, but they cannot produce the bid requirements, and they're not even talking about even possibly trying to get the vehicles built till May of next year. And we went to a business in Georgia. The vehicles were a little higher. Of course, they don't have to honor Alabama state bid, but they are still a lot lower than if you or I went out to purchase a vehicle. Vehicles come in at $43.9 a piece, so we've adjusted the number of vehicles, we were looking at 8. We had 280,000 budgeted in our budget. We requested 7. That's going to come in at $307,300, I believe it was. And what we've asked the commission to do, and I've met with Peter on this as well, is the commission to approve the 280,000 to purchase these, or correction, do a budget amendment for $307,300, and Houston County Sheriff's Office will reimburse $27,300 to make it to where our original budget was 280. And they do have the vehicles in stock, on hand, and ready for us to go pick them up.
So you'll get those, they'll be in service fairly soon.
Lights, equipment, and all that, once we get them, once it's approved, we'll request a PO and go get them.
Any other questions? Objection to placing this item on the agenda? No objection. Thank you, Nate. Item number 7 is a request to add the following item to gov deal as a premium 2010 Chevrolet Malibu. Well, or whatever we can get for it. No objection. Any objection? No objection. All right, we have 2 privileges of the floor today. First one is Mr. Gary Knight. Gary, yeah, you can come on up. So he is addressing us to, I have a little bit of a hard time reading this. Ensure the laws concerning Act 569 are properly applied. We request for a public audit through the Attorney General Marshall Montgomery concerning possible transfer of HEDA money. So, Mr. Gary, the floor is yours.
Sorry.
The floor is yours.
Okay. I'm sorry about my writing, but I just.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, where's the mic up here for citizens? We can't hear back here.
We are having, there's construction going on the second floor, and we're having technical difficulties.
Oh,
with our
okay,
electrical
okay.
ones. Not-
It's
not
just
anything
temporary.
we can do
thing.
about it.
Okay, sorry, okay.
Gary Knight, 1410 Houston Street in Houston County. I'm going to try to outline reasons I've been aggravating you and everybody here about needing an audit for HEDA. There's some highly questionable spending and transferring of monies to individuals and not keeping it under the rule of law. Amendment 569 says that the county commission may promulgate rules and regulations for issuing permits or licenses and for operating bingo within the county jurisdiction. That tells me that you do not, as a commission, has not given up authority over HEDA. This is something that's important. You still have authority over it. The commission shall, this is law, this shall issue compliance pursuant to any ordinance in the following, which is, I'm focusing on item number 7, 100% of the net revenues derived from operating bingo games shall be designated and expended for charitable or educational purposes. In addition to that, the county commission has also appointed a representative to HEDA. Fine appointment, everything. However, I feel like there's a conflict there because should he find any wrongdoing or something, he serves it at the pleasure of the commission. If he finds anything, that puts him between a rock and a hard place. Because if he brings up something that's uncomfortable, then he can simply be removed from his position, and all. That's not a good thing. Several years ago, I sat here and watched ex-employee of HEDA rise and want to address the commission, and this was denied by the chairman. I talked to that individual later on, and he showed me certain things that were going to happen with HEDA. Number one, they were going to purchase land, 636 D Hodge Road. Now, this individual, I'm not going to name names, that's not a thing to do, but a company was formed in Florida by a representative or ex-employee of HEDA, and it was established in March 20th, 1914. Dehodge Road was purchased by this individual February the 15th, 2018. Money supplied admittedly by HEDA to him to purchase this land. This person named himself president, vice president, and secretary. On December the 6th, 2017, TCBC Development Company became active. They went to Cheyenne, Wyoming and formed this company. Just as the first employee went out of state and formed his company. So you have two employees, one of them being a former chairman who sent the money to Florida to an ex-employee of his. Then he turned around and gave that land that he purchased at Dehodge Road back to the former, his former employee, TCBC, by quit claim, $100. Now, the money that was transferred and used to buy that land with HEDA was $381,200. I may be off a little bit, close to $400,000. This is money that's supposed to be earmarked, and it's supposed to go to charities and so on. There's no listing of all the money spent or given in charity, the dates, the times, or the check numbers. Everything's being kept under. We are trying to establish a new rule and a new purpose in this commission. I see 5 people right here that I have the highest regard to. If you can get sucked into something, how did money, tax-free money, end up in a charitable situation and then turn around and go into an individual privately owned company? That can't be right. I've talked to several politicians up there, and one of them being the sheriff. And the sheriff agrees, yeah, there's a problem. And the law, as I understand it, is it's up to him to enforce this. But he has not the personnel, the expertise, nor the money to conduct such thing. He emphasized, I need to have something from the Attorney General's office. Everyone I talked to said, go to the Attorney General's office. True, all this is well, but we're not only talking about potential criminal charges, we're talking about possibly tax problems. We're talking about revenue that is being misspent, in my opinion. So I'm not accusing anybody of wrongdoing. No, I think every person here will have their own opinion, but we need to have somebody from the Attorney General's office brought into this and individually look at it. Now, I know the Attorney General's office has been notified in the past and said they found nothing criminal in it, but they don't have all the information. So this is something we need to do. We need to take this cloud off our heads. Article in the paper, wonderful article promoting not only the county commission, but the positive things we're going to do. If there's a cloud there of potential fraud, theft, money laundering, anything like this needs to be wiped out. This needs to be taken care of. 2 employees from HEDA.
Mr. Gary, I don't know any rules. Time is up, but I'll allow you
Okay,
to finish.
2 employees from HEDA. One was in security, goes out of state, names himself president, vice president, and secretary of a business, buys this land and gives it to vicariously to TCBC, and for $100. Folks, every politician I've talked to says this does not pass a smell test. Why not? Let's have an audit, a public audit on the goings on here. It's hard to summarize 10 years in 5 minutes, but I know y'all are honorable people. I ask that you place this on the agenda, and let's see who's in favor of, who's in favor or not in favor of opening up to the public. We can't have business coming in and there be a question as to whether there's integrity or we're withholding money or knowledge from the public. The public has a right to know. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Knight.
Appreciate comments. I'll say a couple of things. I know that the issue, what you're talking about, purchasing of land, I know the AG has looked into that and absolutely nothing illegal about that. If it was illegal to purchase land using an out-of-state LLC, there's a lot of people in this town and state that would be in jail right now. So certainly nothing illegal about that. But anyway, but we appreciate your comments all the same. We have another one. Ricky Stokes is going to address us concerning resolution supporting law enforcement. So, Mr. Stokes.
Thank you. This morning I checked, and this is not a scientific number. There's about 25 people in the Houston County Jail right now for murder or capital murder awaiting trial. We had a murder this weekend. We had a shooting and murder during the parade. It's unpreventable by law enforcement. The shooting this weekend, one of the parade, you can have intelligence information, but you can't read somebody's mind that they're about to pull the trigger. But things have grown. Law enforcement has got to do a crackdown and a blitz. But when you do that, you get a certain group of people that starts raising sand. What I am wanting the commissioners to do, and law enforcement hadn't asked me, but get you as a governing body, City of Dothan, your different political leaders to sign a resolution that y'all support a legal crackdown, whatever you want to call it, blitz, whatever terminology, for the Houston County Sheriff's Office, Dothan Police Department, and ALEA, and the municipalities out in the county, to give them some cover that when people start raising Cain, your name, your name, your name, your name, your name's on a resolution saying, we support this, we support it 100%, so that if people start raising Cain, they can't raise Cain at the law enforcement officers. And then the politicians throw them out to the wolves. So I'm just asking this really to give them some cover, because it's got to be done. 6, 8, 9 months ago, they did have a campaign Friday and Saturday with the Sheriff's Office and the Police Department. Had 4 officers or SWAT team members to a vehicle and get out with their SWAT gear on traffic stops. Friday night, people were moving. Saturday night, you couldn't find anything. And things slowed down a little. Legislature's hampering law enforcement becoming January on the pistol permit, because you pull a vehicle over and they got guns. They have no permits, you can't put them in jail. Tomorrow morning, you find out when you go get in your car, your pistol's been stolen. Well, they had the pistol with law enforcement, it ties law enforcement's hands. But I'm kind of asking the different government entities that you 100%, and I put the legal because it's not profiling, it's taking the stacks that they have and doing concentrating enforcement efforts. That's the only way you're going to slow it down. I always say there's a nerve from the buttocks to the brain. Sometimes you have to motivate the buttocks to get the brain kicked in gear. That's kind of what this is getting the community that, hey, watch out. If you turn the corner, you're going to see. Think of how things would stop if all of a sudden one weekend you see 75 sheriff's cars, police cars, and troopers around Dothan and Houston County actually patrolling every time you turn around and you're seeing one. And that's what's got to be done. But and I'm not asking them again, but I know from being in this since 77, you got to have where your political leaders don't waffle and put them out on a limb and saw it off behind them. So that's all I'm asking, is that a resolution with each one of you and a voice vote, each one of you, we support 100% and we support 100% crackdown. Now, y'all don't control the finances for the city or for the troopers, but with that, I'm digging in Rafferty's business, comes overtime. That within reason, he has to control overtime, but you're going to have to come up with some money to help with this aggressive enforcement. Because if we don't, it's gonna continue to grow. And again, y'all are law enforcement professionals, so you can tell me if I'm wrong. Most of the 25 murders are unpreventable because you can't read in their mind what they're fixing to do. But through their aggressive enforcement, you deter some of that. So I just kind of want the political leaders on record, we support them 100%. So that's all I'm asking for.
I think Mr. Stokes, certainly think that is an idea worth considering, and I'll talk to sheriff and police chief, and that, if that's what they want us to do, and we'll certainly put that in permission. All right, that is the end of the administrative meeting, so we will take a recess, or actually we will adjourn, and then we will meet here at 10 a.m. for our regular meeting. Thank you.